currently 16 episodes into Haikyuu and almost started choking up like a wiener about halfway through. I feel like a dumbass not having started this series sooner, but I tend to do this a lot, and I'm just glad that I'm watching it now. In the current episode, our team of Karasuno badasses makes relatively easy work of the jobber team that they are playing against in the first round of the Prefectural Tournament. The Karasuno girls team, however, suffers a pretty handy defeat themselves, and throughout the episode, the attitudes and struggles of the players are juxtaposed with one another as the game progresses. The thing that hit me so hard emotionally was a section of the episode devoted to the regrets of the losing team. It's not like the characters being shown in this part of the episode had never experienced loss before, but what made it so emotional is that the characters shown were third-year students, meaning that this game that they loved and this game that they lost marked the last time that they would ever stand on the court in a competitive way again. The characters are acutely aware of the reality of making it as a professional athlete and what a mountain this is, so they hold no grandiose visions of this happening for them. Once they lose, a number of realizations, and even more significantly, regrets, begin pouring over them. The young man who lost is at the center of the episode as a rival to a character on Team Protagonist, and he begins to reflect on flashbacks about how hard his friend on Team Protag worked and how difficult he took their losses. The young man and the other spotlight character on the female Karasuno team tearily states how in retrospect, the amount of time they had to play volleyball was in reality so very short. The hardest part of this episode was watching the characters list off their regrets of skipping morning practices, of not trying their hardest to retrieve balls that were still in play, of not being the leader that they needed to be and discipline their teams when they needed direction. These regrets hurt so bad because they are so extremely real. They are painful truths that many do not contemplate until it's too late to recapture that moment ever again. And this is exactly what happened to the characters in this episode. They understood too late the significance of diligent effort, motivation, and practice, and this lack of awareness and focus cost them the ability to continue to play the game that they love, at least in the same capacity that they were doing up to that point. In Haikyuu, watching the characters lose the ability to continue to play the game that they love was difficult enough, but it truly becomes heartbreaking when you think about how much bearing this has on the way that many of us live our lives every day. This episode made me think about how utterly sad and depressing it would be to be on my deathbed with a heart full of things I now in retrospect know I should have done, but when I should have, I didn't. How could things have been if I would have spent more time with my kids? How would my relationship have changed if I would have spent more time with my wife? Would I be lying here right now if I would have taken better care of myself and eaten and exercised like I was supposed to? It is upsetting to think about, but this episode really was another wake-up call that I do not want to be this in reality. I do not want to be thinking about these things on my own deathbed. One of my greatest goals in life would be to say that I lived my life like Rao did in Hakto no Ken, put my fist in the air, beam myself into the afterlife, saying, of this life, I have no regrets. Episode 16 of Haikyuu is a reminder for all of us to do those things that you know you should be doing before they are too late. Follow your diet properly. Lift up those weights. Tell that girl how you feel about her. Spend those 10 to 15 minutes with your son or daughter. Have a conversation with your partner about how their day was. These things sometimes feel like a chore to us, but there will come a time when you are unable to have these moments again, and when that time comes, how do you want to feel? The young man in the spotlight in episode 16 stated that if this was fiction, the team going to nationals would be the main character and all the losers would be extras. But even still, the extras still had dreams and desires to be more. Every day we have a choice to make regarding whether we are going to be the main character in our narrative or an extra. Which one are you going to choose?